It's almost that time of year. NAIC is fast approaching, and I'm extremely excited that I will be there and I will be available to meet everyone who is interested. This year, I have elected not to participate as a competitor, so I will be mostly available throughout the whole day, each day at NAIC. So if you see me, if you recognize me, and want to say hi, do please say hi. I swear I don't bite, despite how I may come across sometimes on the Poke Beach podcast. I am not all doom and gloom. I am quite happy and love to meet people, love to say hi to whoever wants to say hi to me. If I'm available, I might even sit down and play a game with you, especially if it's Eternal format. I love to play Eternal format. So just keep that in mind. So if you are not familiar with how I look, I will show you a picture. If you can imagine me being on the Poke Beach podcast, this is a screenshot from me on the Poke Beach podcast. So again, if you happen to see me there, do be sure to say hello. Additionally, my co-host on the Poke Beach podcast, John, Water Pokemon Master, will also be throughout the venue. So if you happen to see him, do also not be a stranger to him and say hello. We both, of course, want to meet as many people as possible. Part of my decision for not participating as a competitor at NAIC this year was to ensure that I could run a pair of Eternal Format events for people who were interested. So on days 2 and 3 of the event, I'll be holding kind of a Eternal Format tournament for those who want to jump in. So you can see here our first ad here for the one on Saturday, June 8th at 2 p.m. So this is day 2 of NAIC. So a big part of the venue will have already cleared out at this point, when a lot of people have figured out that they did not make day 2. So again, first tournament will be on June 8th at 2 p.m. So you can jump in there and join us for the Eternal Format tournament. And if you can't make this one, let's say you made day 2, you can actually join us for the next one at 10 a.m. on June 9th. So this is going to be day 3, or Championship Sunday. So if you're not a finalist at NAIC, then you'll be able to jump in on this one and join us. So 2 different opportunities to jump in, or if you want to jump in both, absolutely jump into both. It is a free tournament. There's no real prizing other than bragging rights, but again, it's free. So jump in and just have some fun with it. Additionally, I will be there with an archive of 12 different decks that you'll be able to borrow from if you need to. I'll jump a little bit more into that later. But if you are thinking about deck building for the event, it's important to understand what is legal. So up first, let's look at this. So official cards, including the World Championship cards, are going to be legal here. So you can use any official card that has been released in English. That includes World Championship cards. So as long as they've been legal at some point, they're fine. And if they have a different card back, they do need to be in an opaque sleeve. I would imagine most people are going to be playing with sleeves, but they do need to be opaque sleeves. And we're going to be following regular tournament rules with regard to sleeving, so make sure you have legal sleeves. Participants can use any official cards, championship cards, and printed proxies in any language that's been produced by TPCI or TPC. So this does include Japanese, this includes Chinese, this includes Spanish, French, Italian, whichever language that you happen to have on you, that you happen to have a card for, that's fine. And again, that also goes for printed proxies. So if you need a proxy of Lapras from Legend Maker, for example, if you have a printed proxy of that card, as long as it's backed by something like a basic energy, that is also acceptable for this tournament. Cards from the trading card game Classic, with the exception of basic energies, any card marked not tournament legal on the card, and any cards that are on the format's ban list. That's any cards that are on the format's ban list. Hopefully that came through. And any card that has not ever been tournament legal in the TPCI standard or modified formats are not legal. So if it hasn't been legal in a TPCI standard or modified format event, then it's not legal. So stuff like the special promo cards from celebrations, like Dragapult Prime, those are not legal. A lot of them will say they're not legal on them anyway, but just keep that in mind. There are also some Japanese exclusive cards. Those are not legal either because they've never been legal in a TPCI standard or modified format. And then if you have any questions about card or deck legality, definitely message me on the server, or if you'd rather jump in on the Eternal Format channel and message people, or just kind of chat in general, that's a great place to do it. Because even if I'm not available for whatever reason, other people will definitely be available and can help you out. Tournament structure, we're just going to use a standard Swiss structure. It's going to be best of 1, 30-minute rounds. If there's at least 9 people, we'll use a top cut. So 9 or more people, we'll jump into top 4. Once we break a certain point, we can even get into a top 8. Kind of don't think we'll probably go that far. I don't think we're going to have quite that many participants. I'm hoping for like 15, 20 people, but we'll see how many people actually show up. I am just excited for the tournament in general. And again, if you want to sign up for these tournaments, links will be in the description, and you can also backtrack to scan the QR codes on those advertisements earlier. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but if you do not have a deck, if you do not already have one built, and you don't think you're going to be able to put one together that you want to play specifically prior to these tournaments, I will have an archive of 12 Eternal format decks that will be available for people to borrow. They will be available on a first come, first serve basis. So don't be like, oh, I'm going to play this deck out of that box and then expect to get it, because there's a good chance somebody else will nab it before you get there. So just anticipate that you may have to choose a second favorite. Additionally, some of my friends will also probably have Eternal format decks that they'll be willing to lend people. I know my friend Ryan is willing to let people borrow a couple of his decks. So it won't just be those 12. If there'll be a few others that my friends have too. So the ones I will have available are Bennett Omastar, Blacephalon, Charizard EX, Copperajah, Darkrai V-Star, Dragapult EX, Gardevoir EX, Miraidon EX with the Pidgeot build, not the Turbo build, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. This is going to be a Garbodor build, not the Alolan Muck build that you're used to seeing. Ultra Necrozma United Wings, and the 12th deck is a mystery. I'm not going to be sharing that one just yet because it's not built and I'm not sure what I'm settling on. But there will be a 12th deck. But these 11 plus that mystery deck will be the decks that I have available for people to borrow. And then just real quick, I'm going to kind of pass through these deck lists so you can get a chance to see what these decks look like. I'm not going to be going over the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of let you look at each of them for a little bit as I talk. So again, this is Bennett Omastar, very similar to Bennett Vileplume. If I'm not mistaken, Ryan, my friend, will be bringing Bennett Vileplume. So if you want to borrow that deck, he will have that one on hand for you. This is Blacephalon. This is very similar to the deck that we played on the first draft series a while back. I've switched it over to the Claydol engine instead of the Ninetales engine. So if you notice a difference, that's why. This is Charizard Pidgeot. This is the same list as first drafts because it was pretty good out of the gate. So again, Charizard Pidgeot. Copperajah. This one's been battle tested a bit, so it's had some time on it. Darkrai V-Star. This is an older Eternal format deck, maybe a little slower than some of the others, but it is still a fun deck to play. Dragapult EX. If you watched this week's Eternal Monday, you'll have seen this deck in action against Meloetta. So this one also got a chance to be in the spotlight for first drafts Monday. I will say, and this is true of all of these decks, all of these deck lists are subject to change, and even the decks themselves may be subject to change. If I figure out that maybe there's a better option to include in one of these slots, something might get dropped out for it. So just keep that in mind. And then this is Gardevoir. This deck is so fun and so cool, but it can be quite the migraine to pilot. This is maybe not a deck for the faint of heart. You're gonna have to really want to pilot this one. Miraidon Pidgeot. This one's a really fun, really strong one. Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Again, this is that Garbodor build I was talking about earlier. A little bit different than perhaps people are used to, because the most common way to build it previously has been with Alolan Muck. We have Ultra Necrozma here. This one is a tried and true deck. Quite a menace in the format at times, but here it is. United Wings with a little bit of flavor from Twilight Masquerade. Not quite got the stuff from Shrouded Fable. Very much looking forward to that here in the future. But presently, this is the deck list for United Wings. And again, that 12th deck is going to just be a mystery deck. So nothing especially crazy there. Just a 12th deck. We'll figure out what it is a little closer to the time. But again, that's pretty much it for this video. If you want to learn more about the Eternal format, what the ban list looks like, definitely jump into justinbasil.com/eternal. Jump into my Discord also. The Eternal format channel is a huge resource for people. There are a lot of people in there that really enjoy the format. So you definitely want to jump in there and have some fun. Sign up for the tournaments at the links below. And with that said, thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video and hopefully at NAIC this year.